purpose of this resource is to provide guidance for utilizing scaffolds that are embedded in your EL Education District curriculum. Scaffolding is an instructional method that progressively moves students toward greater independence and understanding during the learning process. It is a temporary support that acknowledges what students already know, the barriers they will face in achieving new learning goals, and the instructional support that will benefit them in negotiating those barriers. Throughout this learning opportunity, we'll focus on examples of scaffolds that already exist within EL Education lessons using Lesson 3 from Grade 3, Module 2, Unit 1. An EL Education Scaffold Overview document for elementary ELA grades 2 through 5 can be found in Learning Central under the appendix within each grade level module and in the teacher planning tools for your grade level curriculum. Please refer to this document for additional supports as you plan. The lesson components listed on the slide are where you can locate embedded scaffolds within lessons and will be highlighted throughout this presentation. We'll start with the scaffolds in the introductory teacher notes. Here we see that the close read of the poem is carefully led by the teacher to ensure students have adequate understanding of challenging vocabulary terms in order to comprehend the poem. Next, there's a language dive included in this lesson. Language dives are always beneficial, but they are especially valuable in poetry. This particular language dive explores a multiple meaning vocabulary word that will show up again on the mid-unit assessment. Using a visual representation of both uses of the word will help students internalize both meanings and understand how some words can be used in many different contexts. Lastly, the teaching notes highlight the importance of the shared writing practice as it allows students to focus on the content of the lesson while the teacher models the writing process. Also in the introductory notes are reminders about strategically grouping reading partners and adding to the why anchor chart to guide research in future lessons. One place you might not think to look for scaffolds is the In Advance section. This section advises teachers to create a language chunk wall, which will be especially helpful as a visual reference point for language dives. Because so much of this lesson centers around poetry, it has the potential to be a challenging lesson, especially for English language learners. So make sure you pay special attention to the ELL supports in this lesson, which will benefit more than just your ELL students. One way to support comprehension during this lesson is to be clear about the genre switch from work time A to work time B. Compare and contrast the genres throughout the lesson to remind students of the switch. In addition, there are suggestions given for different levels of support, such as discourse frames when completing the graphic organizer for lighter support, and sequence cards to help students understand the sequencing and a narrative for heavier support. In the Universal Design for Learning section, you can find more information about including multiple means of representation, action and expression, and engagement. Note the suggestion to use reading goals as a means of engagement, which is a high-yield research-based practice. In this lesson, there are lesson-specific vocabulary words and text-specific vocabulary words noted here with an L and a T respectively. Consider using a tip chart to review vocabulary with students and provide scaffolds to help make meaning and not just define. Embedded in the lesson plan itself are the meeting students' need suggestions after every lesson section. Note that these suggestions often link back to the Universal Design for Learning section. This meeting students' needs section is found between work times A and B. Here you'll see a common and useful scaffold of providing a partially completed graphic organizer. Also included is a way to help students understand why questions, which will help them complete the why anchor chart that is essential to their research in future lessons. The meeting students' needs section after work time B suggests a color-coded graphic organizer to support comprehension and an exercise to support students who struggle with sequential writing. Scaffolding is an instructional method that progressively moves students toward greater independence and understanding during the learning process. Refer to the EL Education Scaffold Overview for grades 2 through 5 for additional resources that may provide further support when planning for and implementing instruction. As a reminder, additional resources and professional learning videos can be found in Learning Central under the appendix within each grade level module and in the teacher planning tools for your grade level curriculum. If you need more assistance with differentiating scaffolding lessons, you may wish to reach out to the experts in your building, your ESL teachers, special education specialists, intervention team facilitator, or contact the central office coordinating teachers assigned to your school for support.